I was determined to ensure that our loan payments were proceeding without any issues while I was occupied at work. Unexpectedly, an email arrived that prompted me to immediately contact my husband, Wayne. Upon reaching out, Wayne appeared composed initially. However, he then revealed shocking news. He confessed his feelings for another woman and his desire to begin anew with her, even considering taking our recently purchased luxury car financed in my name. Despite my attempts to dissuade him, he abruptly ended the call and vanished, leaving me bewildered and uncertain about the next steps. My name is Rebecca, and both Wayne and I are 35 years old. We are parents to Tony, our intelligent 13-year-old son who has always shown an aptitude for reading and engaging in sophisticated discussions. While Wayne has faced challenges in maintaining steady employment, our financial situation seemed to be improving. We had even contemplated purchasing a camper van to create family memories. However, when Wayne failed to qualify for the camper van loan, I secured a loan for a car instead. On the day we expected the camper van, Wayne emailed me his intention to take the car, citing the loan in my name. Confused, I called him, only to learn about his new love interest and his plans to leave me, mentioning previously discussed divorce papers during an argument. Despite my efforts to communicate, he never responded. Returning home, I discovered the divorce papers gone and was left with substantial debt. Tony, sensing something was amiss, inquired about the situation. Trying to conceal my emotions proved futile against Tony's keen perception, and I eventually shared everything with him. Although he seemed to handle the news well, I could sense his internal struggle. The ensuing stress adversely affected my health, culminating in my collapse at work and subsequent hospitalization. Despite feeling overwhelmed by what I presumed was emotional stress, a visit from Tony, filled with concern, reminded me of my resolve not to leave him. Reassured by my promise, Tony's worry subsided. The call from his school teacher brought to light my hospital admission. The shock was so intense that my heart almost ceased beating. Despite Tony's maturity, he was only 13 years old, compelling me to recover swiftly for his sake. Unfortunately, my health situation was graver than anticipated, leading to a diagnosis of a serious condition. The doctor recommended immediate surgery, prompting me to consent to the procedure. A month after Wayne's departure, upon my return home, I discovered a demand letter for the car loan payment in the mailbox. I had assumed the repayments were being automatically deducted from my account. Alarmed, I reviewed my bank balance to find that my savings of $19,000 had dwindled to merely $32.80. I immediately suspected Wayne's interference. Desperate to confront him and recover the funds, I found myself unable to reach him. Without the camper van Wayne had left behind, selling it was not an option, plunging me further into despair. Observing my distress, Tony gently inquired about my health, noting my pallor but no fever. I confided in him about Wayne taking not only the car, but also our savings, leaving us financially stranded and me unable to work due to my condition. Tony, undeterred, proposed earning money by delivering newspapers and exploring online work opportunities. His resolve inspired me to shift my mindset from despair to determination, apologizing for my earlier despondency and vowing to persevere. Tony's unexpected suggestion to strategize on reclaiming the car from Wayne sparked curiosity. He pointed out that since the camper van was registered in my name, we might have a way to retrieve it. He then revealed a plan so ingenious that it never crossed my mind, lamenting our ignorance of Wayne's whereabouts. Tony suggested using a GPS app installed on a family-used cell phone, allowing us to track Wayne's movements in real time. I was initially skeptical, fearing Wayne might evade us again, but Tony assured me he had taken measures to prevent that. Astonished by his proactive steps taken during my hospital stay, I marveled at the intelligence and initiative of my son, realizing the depth of his capabilities. Hearing Tony's plan, I was astounded. Not only had he discovered John's affair, but he was also ready to confront our betrayer. Let's teach Dad a lesson, I agreed, feeling a surge of empowerment with Tony by my side. We prepared to execute our plan, feeling invincible together. 3 days later, my phone rang. "It's me. I need help," the familiar voice pleaded. "And who might this be?" I responded, pretending not to recognize him. "It's your husband. The police are questioning me about you, and they might ask me to voluntarily go to the station. Please help me," Wayne begged. "Oh, really? Just a moment." I replied calmly, then went with Tony to John's location, which turned out to be a forest park suitable for camping near a house. There, John was being questioned by the police next to his car, looking utterly lost. I approached, sighed at his pitiful state, and asked the police if we could have a moment to talk as a couple, prompting them to step away. John, feeling the eyes of onlookers, hurried us into the car. Inside, John's mistress sat with a defiant glare, but her presence was no longer of any concern to us. "Why did the police come to my place?" "I don't understand," Wayne inquired, confused. "Because I reported the camper van missing," I explained calmly. "Why would you do that?" he asked, perplexed. "It's quite simple. My car was taken without my permission," I stated, pointing out the obvious fact that taking a vehicle without consent, especially after filing for divorce, constitutes theft. Tony added his insight, highlighting the legal implications, which I admire for his sharpness. "I didn't steal the car. I was just borrowing it," Wayne weakly protested. "Well, now I need it back, so please return the keys," I said, extending my hand. John reluctantly handed them over, acknowledging the return of the vehicle. Tony then confronted John, questioning why he chose to abandon his family for another woman. Caught off guard, John hesitated, while his mistress smugly claimed her attractiveness led to his decision. Tony, uninterested in her response, demanded an answer directly from John. Silenced by Tony's firm tone, John remained speechless. Tony warned that without a satisfactory explanation, he would call the police back, putting John in a position where he had to reconsider his actions. "I'll explain," John eventually admitted. Geneva had joined John's company 4 months prior, and their attraction to each other sparked at a welcome party for new hires. Their relationship resulted in Geneva's pregnancy, prompting John to choose a life with her over ours. Confused, I inquired why he opted to take the camper van. John, now jobless, had considered selling the vehicle for financial gain, but realized I was utilizing it. He confessed awkwardly. He acknowledged the depth of his explanation, but felt it necessary to share the entire context. We had previously agreed not to sell the camper van immediately and instead planned a trip. This knowledge came from the GPS app we installed on a kid's phone for Tony, and on John's phone as a precaution after Tony's feigned disappearance during a hike, revealing Tony's strategic foresight. Tony admitted to orchestrating the plan to track John's movements, showcasing his adeptness in strategy, which left me both terrified and impressed. Tony declared he'd never become an adult who betrays others so easily, a statement that left John without a response. As a mother, witnessing Tony's assertiveness at 13 filled me with pride and resolve, especially in handling our affairs properly. I demanded the return of the $19,000 John withdrew, our joint savings, which he wastefully spent with Geneva. John's refusal and justification that the savings was solely mine, given his history of quitting jobs, only solidified my relief in our separation. I warned him of the legal ramifications for stealing the car and my money, clarifying that the police's departure didn't close the matter, as I hadn't withdrawn my complaint. As I insisted on reporting the theft, Tony offered to call the police with a single touch on his phone. Geneva, until now an observer, attempted to leave the van, but screamed upon seeing her angry parents outside. Apologizing, she was baffled by their presence, addressing them as Mom and Dad, highlighting the complexity and escalating situation. Before the confrontation, Tony had informed Geneva's parents about the situation. "Why?" Geneva inquired, puzzled by Tony's actions. Tony had made a visit to John's office during my hospitalization, where he tearfully shared that his father had left with an unknown woman and his mother had collapsed. This evoked suspicion towards Geneva at Wayne's workplace, especially since she had departed the company with Wayne, and there were photos of them appearing as a couple at the new employees' welcome party. Tony learned from Wayne's coworkers that Geneva still lived at her parents' home, prompting him to visit with a photo of Geneva. Upon revealing the entire ordeal to her parents, they were ready to confront the situation, leading to their presence at the scene, visibly furious. As the evening darkened, the forest park was illuminated by the police car's red lights. Wayne, in desperation, pleaded for leniency, promising to reform and avoid future deceit. However, Tony, skeptical of Wayne's capacity for change, especially given his laziness, voiced his doubts. I echoed Tony's sentiments, stressing the importance of Wayne facing the consequences of his actions at the police station, regardless of his concerns about repaying the stolen money. I assured him that repayment could follow his period of atonement. I also revealed that I had secured a job for Wayne, calculating his future earnings to cover both Tony's child support and the $19,000 he had misappropriated. I made it clear to Geneva that her involvement made her an accomplice in John's crimes, warning her of the potential repercussions. When Geneva sought her parents' support, they disowned her for her actions. With Tony's strategic planning, we managed to hold Wayne and Geneva accountable. Although they were soon released from detention, they faced a significant financial obligation to me, enforced by a legal claim of $19,000 in damages and an agreement for Wayne to pay $450 monthly in child support for Tony. I arranged for Wayne's employment at a subcontractor for my company, ensuring his payments would be directly deducted from his salary. After selling the camper van, I was relieved from the auto loan, marking a significant improvement in my health and a renewed dedication to my work. Tony, now more involved in household responsibilities, motivates me to remain resilient, ensuring he can follow his passions without hindrance.